Hey guys, how you doing today? It's me, Kelly. So I got asked a question about how to draw a bigger face in your art journal or on a canvas or even on an ATC card that somebody was used to drawing it, smaller faces, and how do you kind of make it to fill up the piece? So uh, that's what we're going to do real quick. And one thing I've been doing is going through my art journals, like my old ones, and gessoing it. Gessoing, this is inside the cover, and like all the pages that I really didn't care for or I want to do over. Some have like, I don't know, magazine pieces and that kind of stuff. So I've been pulling them off and gessoing. So I have, now I'll leave this and go over it. So I have new pages so I can finish it out. I'm sure a lot of us have, these kind of things. So that's what I've been doing. Also, here's a face. Well, I'll show that next. But okay, so this is just a background. What I suggest if you're just starting out to mix media or art journaling or whatever, pick a light background color. So do I have any lights sitting here? Let's do yellow. So this is the folk art multi-surface daffodil yellow. I love the multi-surface paints that we have going on, but you use whatever you have. And if you only have white, use white. You know what I mean? It's not that big a deal. But I'm just going to kind of get this a little more. You can just use gesso as well. I'm not going to stamp much or anything until it's done, but just throw that down. Okay, and you see it's, not that big of a deal. You can see that my light is making it a little too shiny there. Come on, baby. I don't want to make it too dark. Okay. So then I'm going to dry it with my heat gun. If you don't have a heat gun and you're just starting out, you can use your hair dryer, definitely. The heat gun is used more for embossing and not necessarily, just drawing your page. But honestly, acrylic paints nowadays, um, they dry so fast. I don't know how they were back in the day. I shouldn't say that. But you know what I mean? Like, they just dry fast. And if you're using a hair dryer or, uh, you know, leaving it sit, I always say put on your favorite YouTuber, watch one of their videos, put on your favorite song or two, and then you will see that it's dry. Okay. All right. Of course, you can glue papers on here, do whatever you want. Now, something else that I suggest, which I don't have any sitting right here at the moment, is you see how I have the yellow, it kind of went through there, which I don't really necessarily care because, I'll just work with it or go paint over it. But put a piece of printer paper or scrap paper, whatever you have, so it blocks it. So when you do this, you're not getting it on there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to take any fancy pencils or water soluble anything. I'm just going to use my trusty alt. And this is like, if you've been with me for a while, this is like back in the day. Like, this is all full of glue and paint. And I have a few of these. These are my favorite. It's good for my hands on bad days with the RA and all. And it's just nice. I also have a thicker one somewhere where you can hold on better. You can always put on your the kids things that we used to get, the pencil where they put their fingers in. No, you can get those too. So I'm going to turn it this way a little bit because that's just how I have to do it. And what I'm going to do is just go with a face or with a shape head, because we're going to go. And this is not going to stay like this. We're just kind of going around. So you get the idea. Depends on how big. I'm going pretty big. I'm not going to worry about it too much. But you see how we got that? And then I'm going to just kind of put in for a neck. She has my football neck. But that will definitely change when we're done, once we get going. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in. I suggest if you're starting out, use a ruler. I just have like a dollar store cheap, where is this from? AC Moore wooden ruler. I mean, I think this was one of my kids. I'm not even exaggerating. What you're going to do is, let's put this in half. So I'm going to just look and I'm going to say, oh, okay, here's basically where I think my half is, and here. And then I'm just going to put let me move in a little bit more so maybe you can see. That's why I like to use the darker pencils, but I don't think it's going to do anybody any good. So we get a straight line, which I'm horrible at. You're just going to kind of go in and lightly, I'm talking like hold it up here and down like that. Okay, and that's going to be your middle. You can see it right here. Then we're going to go halfway across. So we're going to do, now you can see, because this has this kind of attachments right there, you know, you're not going to be able to lay this necessarily on there as flat. Maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe you're special and you can do it. I can't. My brain don't work. Now you can, of course, go back in and be like, oh, okay. And this doesn't have to be right on, right? Just kind of mark it where you think it is. And then go ahead in and do your line across, and you can see I'm totally off, but you get the point. You get the gist of it. Why am my brain is like, it just doesn't do things correctly. It doesn't look at things correctly. So you can see it. And then if you do like me and make a boo-boo, you just go in and erase. Now, I know a lot of people like the gummy erasers, you know, the ones that you could pull apart. Let me see if I have any sitting here. Nope. I only have the ones that I like to use more than that, because these are more solid to hold on to. And the kneaded erasers, that's what they're called. Because you can pull them apart, and they're wonderful. And I use them if I'm going to do like detail, which I don't really do a lot, but you know, they're harder for me to hold on. So I like the harder plastic ones, but of course you use whatever you want. Okay, so you see we have our line. I'm always like up in the air. So now what we're going to do is we're going to divide this and this into half again. So around, I don't know, we'll just do like that area. We're going to do this good measuring. Maybe if I turn it. See, I have here at the bottom of my desk, I put tape so I can kind of keep things kind of, you know, where I want them, because I'm horrible at those things. And I know when I'm drawing, I want it, or if I'm making stuff to sell or whatever, I want, you know, that's why I do my odd girls, because it's just much easier for me. Okay, so we're going to, you see, we're kind of half and half, and then, which is where your nose is going to go. And then I'm going to go half again. So, I don't know, right there. Again, take it. And do your best. That's all. This isn't, you know, if you look at my face is not, what word do I want to say? Symmetrical? Normal? There you go. Okay, so you can see what we got going on. This needs to be a little darker so you can see it a little bit more. Okay, there we go. So we have where our eyes are going to go, our nose, and our mouth. And we'll deal with that after. That's how I do it. If you have a different way to do it, put it down below. And your suggestions and how you do it, maybe it would be easier for somebody else a different way. You never know. These, as a matter of fact, these are Paper Mates clear point. This is a 0.7. I prefer 0.9. I don't have it sitting here because I hold it hard and I break. So this is what this is, but it also has one of those good white erasers like this plastic one that I like. So now what we're going to do is, sometimes you can put the nose in first, the mouth, the lips, whatever you want to do. Just go for the eyes. Again, I'm going to turn it this way so it's easier for me to do. And you want the same size apart right here. as you do the width of your eyes, if that makes sense. So let's just kind of do like that. Okay, and you can see like this is how far apart. So make your eye that approximately that wide. And you can eyeball it. You can measure it. There are measurements for it, but I don't do well that way. So that's just how I'm going to do it there. And I take from the line over here and in the middle, and I do my eyelid, and I do this over here. If you do, you can be very, like, oh, if not, don't worry about it. And then I go from this line to this line, this line to this line. Okay, my computer's like, I want to restart. No, thank you. Okay, now what's wrong with that? Well, you definitely can see that this eye is smaller than this eye. So all you do, it's not the end of the world. People erase. I don't care what they say or whatever. They erase. It's okay. So I'm just going to make it a little bit longer. That's it. And you can see like right here to here, it's a little wider down there on the top and on the bottom. So I just play for a minute and just till they kind of look okay. Okay. So then that's that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, and you want to do the middle, and you could do a circle, which I do advise if you have a circle template, which I don't have one sitting here right now. I probably should have grabbed it. I thought I had it here. Yeah, here it is. One of these, which is very well loved, as you can see. So you definitely can go in and do your eyeball so you get a nice round eyeball. And you also can go in here and mark it in the middle if you want. So I'm just gonna, but of course you can measure, do your thing. I'm gonna take the round one that fits pretty much top to bottom and try to get that, you see the point in there, and give it an eyeball. Now that's a little small for the eyeball, which is completely fine. It happens because I use so many different sizes. I'm going to go back here. It's not about perfection. It's about learning how to do it. And then the more you do it, the better you get. And I'll do this with this, and then I'll show you the other side, what I like to do. Yeah, and you can tell that one's well loved, and that's what I do. And then over here, all I do, if I'm not going to use it, is I kind of judge from both sides, and I do more, you see, and it's much easier for me than this, but you can of course do, I might even need a little bigger than that, huh? Let's see, it's not gonna be, maybe this one. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so we just have the circles in there. No problem. Now we're going to do an eyelid. That's what I do next. So I just take this corner, and it's going to cut that eyeball that you put in, but that's okay. Remember, people have different sized eyelids. Some have bigger, some have smaller, doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to go over the top lid. And you see that's kind of where we're at right now. And then I go in and I erase. And I'll just go over this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the pupil. And I always put it, it's always in the middle anyway. So just kind of go in. We're not going to worry about that too much till you decide the color of your eye and all. But you just go in the center and do your circle. And of course you can use, your little circle holder here to make it round, because you want it round because they are round. Yep. And then you can go play, you know, whatever way you want. If you want to make it more folk arty or whatever, more realistic, it doesn't matter. And then for the nose, what I do, there's a million different ways I do it, but I kind of like to go right here where this line is, where we drew like the line across. And I just like to do like the base of the nose. So it's kind of even on both sides. And then I bring it down a little bit to give her nostrils. Like that. And then I'll just, and there's a million ways you could do noses. I mean, there really is. Sometimes I'll do circles. It depends. For this, I'm just going to kind of put the line underneath here. You know what? Where's my other pencil? Just because the paint here's thick. And it's not laying it down good. Okay. Now this is small because what you normally want to do is you want, see how this eye comes down here? I'm going to have to erase it. That's all right. The inner corner, that's kind of where you want the end of your nose to go. Of course, you could put it wherever you want. So we're going to do it more that way. And this paint might not be all the way dry underneath, which is making it a little thicker. So let's go. Yeah. There we go. And again, this is all, you know, you could play. And then I like to do that on the outside. Okay, and then her nostrils would be like in here. And you just kind of give it a little bit of something, something, you know what I mean? We're just, I mean, this makes it look a lot odder, but that's how you would kind of judge where you're at. And then I'll just erase these. And then I'll bring her nose, like, you know how we have like at the bridge of our nose? That's going to come up and go into where her eyebrow is going to be. And that would be both sides. So then you can play with your eyebrows and, you know, how you want them to be. How thick, you know, the whole thing. And then just for this, we'll do the same thing over here. And it's the same thing. Okay. And you see how it's kind of, you know, I mean, you're going to finesse it. It takes you a lot longer than me just sitting here and playing. Now, what I like to do usually, because one side's going to be darker than the other, you know, because shadows and all that kind of stuff, I usually only put one side. But of course, you can do what you want. You want both, you want none. I don't. It is yours. You know. Okay, so you get the idea. Put that down a little bit more. Okay? So that is that part. Now we're going to do the lips, which here's our middle line. Right there. And then that's our cross line. And I usually try to do it, you know, where this, and kind of, you know, where that is. So the bottom of the nose. And I just easily, and I'm also going to tell you, when you're drawing over paint, like if you're going to do your journal pages and stuff, don't do a sharp, I sharpened my pencils for something else, and that's why it's kind of like hard to do on the paint. Didn't think about that. Anyway. So yeah, so that's what I did. So don't do that. You want it a little worn. So what I like to do is decide where you want the bottom of your lip to go. So I'm just going to do a little line here, and I'm going to connect it. And I just kind of round it as I'm going a little bit more. And this line's going to be, you know, where it's at. Okay. And you play how big you want it, how small you want it. And then this is going to be our Cupid's bow kind of thing. So I'm going underneath the nose right here, and I'm going to mimic that kind of like a V. Depending, you know, how high, how low. And I'm doing the V, and then I'm going to just take it down to match that outer corner. Look at me go. And you got a mouth. So far, that's where we're at. Now, you can see this football neck, obviously. We're not going to do that. We're not going to keep the face. So what I'm going to, the round head. So what I'm going to do is quickly erase, you know, kind of our lines, because these we won't need anymore. Just so you get more of a, sometimes it's hard, all those lines, and it's like, Now think how cool you can make a sun. You can make a round, you know, circle and all that, and do a cool face in the sun or the moon. All right, so I'm kind of just doing this just real quick. Gonna erase these little lines. I might need a little smaller of an eraser here. Okay, so we're gonna go for it now. Obviously, I gotta get in there. And this is where that little pencil, that little mushy kneaded eraser will work, because then you can get in all those little lines if you want. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is, you see, here we are, it says no face. But we don't need it that round. So what I like to do, you know, you just do you. So I'm gonna put like a line here, and I think a line here. And then I'm gonna, you know, you don't have too much room. Think about it. How much room do you have between your bottom lip and your chin? Not that much. So, you know, dependent. Okay. And then just kind of lightly take it, and you want to kind of connect the dots without making dots. And also, this is where a difference of a man and a woman face when you're drawing female and male, because males have more of a jawline and women don't. So you can see like, oh, this is a little too much of a chin. I mean, maybe you have a bigger chin. I have more of a smushed face, I guess, as they would say. So that's not me. But I'm going to bring it up a little bit and kind of sketch it in. And that's when you play and you decide. Like, oh, I really like this. I really like the way the face looks. I don't. I want it more of a pointy chin. I want more of a round chin. That kind of thing. And then I'll go and just kind of, you know, play to where you think the neck should go. Yeah, this is more of my smudgy, what is this? This is a, what are you? Homograph, whatever that means, but it's like a, you know, where I could go in and smudge it more. Okay, so you see how we got going on there? And we're gonna go play with that eye a little bit. Now I lost my nostril. Nobody wants to lose a nostril. But you see, you know, you go in, oh, I'm going to put this up more. I want this to be a little more rounder. So you just kind of go do your thing. There's so many ways I like to do this because sometimes what I like to do is I like to draw and I like to then go over with, there you go. Then you go over with, it's sunny outside, so I have light, it's like weird weather. Goes away, comes back. Okay, so what I like to do is draw with my pencil, and when I'm happy with it, I'll go in with a permanent marker or pen to, or even I'll use my colored pencil and kind of go over it, maybe in a taupe or a brown. So then, and then I'll go on to paint it sometimes. Sometimes I go from here. It doesn't, you know, it's what you want to do. So here's where I'm going to be, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to, like, you know, decide like, oh, I want that a little bit more. The eyes, do you want the eyes bigger or smaller? That's up to you. What I'm going to do is make it, because I don't have eyelid space, I'm going to make this a little more eyelid space. And I'll like sketch it in so you can see it a little bit better. See? And then I'll go in here and just play with the eyes. Now, they do say if you draw or paint with things up, like, you know, like at you, it's much easier. I don't do that, not because I don't like it. It's just because I just don't have the capabilities at the moment to do that while I'm here, but at the desk. But, you know, if you're able to do that, see what works better for you. I have a brain that just does not function correctly, but I mean, this is our basic face. Make sure her pupils, I can see that. Looks like she's just a little loony because her pupil in the middle. And you can also, you know, color her eye and then put her pupil in. It depends on what, you know, you want to do. Okay, I always usually do hazel eyes because my daughter has hazel. Now see, I erased it, and then because this is still too sharp on the point, it lifted up that paint. So don't worry about that, okay? Just let's pretend like it doesn't exist. Okay, so you can see basic of the face. So hair, you know, and look, we have like a, look how our head kind of goes, right? Got that big old forehead and all that I have. So you sit and figure out what kind of hair do you want? Do you want it long? Do you want it short? Let's go, let's say we're gonna stick with the whole middle line. Like, oh, let's just, or as close to the middle as Kelly can get. We're gonna go like that, and then just bring the hair over. I like to fill, like when I'm doing bigger faces, which is one of my favorite things to do. I have quite a few canvases that I do this with. Anyway, and then bring it down here, and then just bring this with it. Do you see what I'm saying? And what happens is, and of course you sit and play how you know, you want it, but then I'll do over here. You can make fringy bangs. You can, you know, add texture and go ahead paint. But for this, I'm just kind of showing you how high off the head. You could see, here's her, you know, that's how high off the head we're going. And you get the gist of it. Round it out and bring some, you know, you want to bring maybe some hair on her face. See what I'm saying? And you get that kind of look. Now, let me show you. I don't know. Do I have my permanent markers? Let me see. Let's see if one of these will work. I don't want it to be too thick, but I don't know if this will. So you see her face. Now to you, maybe you want, like I said, more of a chin. Maybe you want her face rounder. Maybe you want her eyes bigger? Do you know what I mean? Whatever you want, you go ahead and do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to forward through this next part just so I can trace her, and then you can, you know, see how I do it. Okay. Hey, let me write this down so I can keep track. Okay, so I have a migraine and I was just trying to do this, and then these Arteza, whatever the heck they are, wasn't working for me, and it just was throwing me. So, not my best, but you get the idea. And you can see that I messed up here. I got a ocular migraine in my eye. So, my I was a little blurry, but it doesn't matter. I messed up and I just went and I just fixed it. Like, do you know what I mean? I used gesso and just went back in and kind of played around, and I could sit and play. But remember, this is your art journal. So it's not like you're doing anything, you know, that you're going to sell this or not. Always do an art journal till you get the feel for what you want and what you're going to do. And then just play. That's the thing. You just play. You can fix. Everything's fixable. Acrylic paint is wonderful. This crap is really making me mad. But you know, so everything's fixable. Everything's fixable. It's acrylic paint. It's not a big deal. Like I said, use markers, and that's what makes it mixed media, is acrylic paint, markers, stencils, whatever you have. And then here, you know, you could put a butterfly. You could put a butterfly in her hair. You could put a quote. You could do whatever you want. It's just how to do the face, a very basic face. What you do is you learn from it, and then you play to get whether you want bigger eyes, you want bigger nose, bigger lips, smaller, whatever. You have fun, you do it. So thanks for watching, and as always, please be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody else is fighting. I love you guys so very much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.